Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine, and today we're going to be previewing the second T20I between South Africa and the West Indies. Now, it was after a 28-run defeat, West Indies' biggest victory, margin victory over South Africa in this format, and we need to come and bounce back and show some fight in the second T20. We still want to try and win this series. Now, we're going to discuss the team and we're going to discuss who we'd like to see in this particular starting 11 for tomorrow's game. We're obviously playing tomorrow as well as Sunday at 9 o'clock South African Standard Time. So we're going to be talking about the team makeup particularly because we covered everything, I feel, quite in depth on last night's review show. I think we did quite a good job in the live chat as well, to discuss the different issues that we had going into this particular match and after that particular match and what we thought about that performance from South Africa. There were some criticism. There was a lot of criticism around on social media after this particular game. The only way is to look forward. The priority for me still remains the same. So I'm going to be going into that on today's show. But before we get going, before we get started, first and foremost, I'd like you guys to please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. We are 400 away from 5,000 subscribers, so please help us get to that next milestone. We are very, very close, guys. We've been getting quite a few subscribers over the last couple of days, so continue sharing this channel with everybody that you know is interested in cricket, in South African cricket specifically. Go ahead and go do that for me, please, whenever you get the chance. I'd also like you guys to please smash the like button, comment, and share. Very important that you guys do so, because YouTube's algorithms have changed and they're making it a little bit more difficult for creators to get their content seen. So please go ahead and smash the like button, comment, and share, and engage with the content after we go live, because that's how our content will spread with other South African cricket fans that are looking for this type of content out there. We've just recently launched the World Cup edition of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly, and we know every issue is 100% free straight to your inbox every month. This is the latest issue, so please go ahead and get your copy of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. It's a great read, I feel. We covered every single angle, I feel, as a preparation for the World Cup, trying to give you guys the best content possible and possibly bring that cup home as well. So please go ahead and check that out. It is 100% free straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen right now. So go and get your copy straight away. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Looking forward to discussing everything with you guys. Get involved in the live chat. Let me know what your thoughts is ahead of this particular match. Very good evening. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your preview show. I am your host, Khalid Mohidin, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the second T20I between South Africa and the West Indies. Now, we're obviously coming off a defeat. Yeah, we're coming off a 28-run defeat. It was quite a massive defeat from South African perspective, and obviously it was West Indies' largest margin victory against South Africa. And it was history for them, for the West Indies, of course. And we covered everything in quite in detail on the show yesterday, on our review show after the match, giving our thoughts on what went down with the team, where we felt things went wrong. And I think that's the starting point for us. Um, the starting point for us is probably going to be team selection, in my opinion. I think that's where we got things wrong in the game yesterday, and it's something that we can correct immediately. Let me just get this out on socials quickly to just let people know that we're alive. Okay, so what happened is I thought that they got the team selection wrong from the beginning when they didn't select two spinners for the match. I think that's where things went wrong from a bowler's perspective. We kind of let the game almost slipped away from us, you could say, especially in that first 10 overs where the West Indies team scored over 100 runs in the first 10 overs. And that was quite a shock for me because of the way Rassi approached his bowling when it came to the side. He rotated his bowlers, giving them only one over each at a time and then changing. And I didn't really like that method. I feel that the way you can really dominate teams, especially when you have all rounders that bowl as well in your team, you can then strategize a plan against particular batters and you can pair bowlers up and bowl them as a partnership rather than just having the bowler do his discipline one over at a time. I feel that if you partner them up, pair them up, and let them uh, try and influence what the batter is going to do rather than play into their hands. And I felt that we got that wrong yesterday. So I would make a change immediately. I'll bring Lungingiri out of the team. He's only a traveling reserve for the World Cup side. And I would like to see Tabrei Shamsi start. And the wrist spin, I felt, would have been a massive difference in that game, at least in restricting the West Indies. Then another change that I'll probably make is bringing in someone like Patrick Kruger. Now, the question is going to be whether you drop Vian Mulder or you drop Andile Pechelkwayo, in my opinion. I think that's going to be the decision tomorrow. I think Anik Nokia, if he's fit, he should start because we really need him to get fit so that he can be up for selection for that first World Cup game. We can't still be having guys that are not fully fit in the squad, in the squad sitting with at the World Cup. They need to get momentum going straight into this game. I do feel that we need to play all the batters because those are the only ones we have. Like I said again, you can have a look at the squad again, and we have to play all of our batters. We have no other choice. But I feel that having a batting all rounder, a serious big hitter at the end in Patrick Kruger will make a massive difference. And I don't think Vian Mulder showed enough yesterday in his performance. So that will probably be the swap for me because Andile bowled really well. But if you know Andile from the past, from past previous experiences, he doesn't tend to be a player that keeps consistency going. He does seem to dip after a good performance. He does tend to dip after a good performance and he doesn't keep that consistency going. Often what I see from Mandile is he'll have a good bowling performance and then he's not that good with the bat. And then he has a good batting performance and he's not so then he has a good batting performance and he's not so good with the ball. That often happens with Andile. But I do feel that Rob is the type of guy that rewards good performances. But I 100% think that Patrick Kruger needs to come in as he's a more power hitter with regards to that top order. And that thing I think needs to happen when it comes to this particular team. I don't think it's a smart move to go with Vian at so low down. I mean, even if he is going to play in the side, he's going to have to play lower down given the top order that is there. Rassi for me at 5 doesn't work. Personally, I don't think so. But what other choice do we currently have? We've only really picked top order batters in this batting group for the squad. So he's kind of going to be forced to play there. And I'm not really worried because ultimately he's not in the World Cup squad. So give other guys an opportunity like Matthew Bretsky to go ahead. Um, but we're going to have to make a strong choice over here on what we're going to do. Rassi is the captain, so he can't be dropped. whether Matthew Brzezinski deserves another opportunity. I feel personally that he does. I think he earned that yesterday. I know he didn't. He only got 19, but I still think he deserves another chance to play again. Because with regards to the bowling attack, Otniel Bartman is playing already. Andrich is playing. I don't think it's a bad thing to take Gerald Kutsia out of the fire line. I mean, he played in the IPL, so he doesn't need to play every single game. I think a rest is due for him, where he can really just sit on the sidelines and chill out a bit before the World Cup. I think he needs a little bit of a break. He played a lot of SA20 games. He played a lot of, um, I mean, he played quite a few IPL games. He didn't play as much in the SA20. Um, I think if I'm not if I remember correctly, um, I think he was injured during that period. So let me just. I just want to check. I can't remember firsthand now, so I'm going to have to go check uh, that quickly. From my recollection, I don't think he played many games in the SA20, so I think he was injured. Um, it's a quick way for me to check this out quickly. Let me check how many games he actually played before I boldly speak about it. Um, let's see. Yeah, I don't think he played throughout the SA20 actually. If I'm looking over here, his name is not on the bowler's sheet at all. So yeah, ultimately, but he did play. He did play in quite a few IPL games this season, and he's a youngster, so there's no harm in giving him a little bit of a rest as well. Um, Let me just see what you guys are also saying in the comment section. NY Times Square saying Rasi captaincy was really poor. Those are almost five opener playing. Feel like dropping one batsman, only play Kruger will be good. I think Brzezinski can be dropped. He isn't in the World Cup. Oh, people are saying Khalid. Yes, bro. So from my perspective, the first thing for me to change for tomorrow's game will most likely be the lineup. That's basically the only thing. And I think picking two spinners is important. Now the question is, if we win the toss again, do we challenge ourselves again and bat second? Because we do have an issue with chasing, as you can see. Once again, another game lost where we've been chasing. So that's another concern for me from a South African standpoint, is that we are not finding ourselves in situations where we can chase a lot. Every time we win the toss, we normally don't pick to bowl second, to bowl first. We normally bat first. In majority of games that we win when we win the toss, and then in yesterday's match we decided to bat second and to chase, and the chase didn't go necessarily as we planned. Now, Riza Hendricks spoke yesterday about the team, and I think it's worthwhile for us to maybe just have a listen to what what Riza had to say as well, because normally with the team that we have currently, there is a big problem I feel with Quinton de Kock at the top of the order at the moment. Form has been terrible, running right from the SA20 right until through the IPL into this particular game. We are sitting with a scenario where Quinton de Kock is terribly out of form. And that's a big concern for me from a South African standpoint, because we he is in the squad and he's most likely going to get game time. And I feel that he puts a lot of pressure. His wicket, when he does lose his wicket, it does put a lot of pressure on the team, because Riza, yes, Riza once again, even though he lost Quinton, Still managed to pull through and score a, a, a massive score again, his highest career score as well. So he still manages to put in the performances and do what he always does. His consistency has been remarkable for South Africa, but also in IPL domestic tournaments. I think only in the SA20 he didn't perform. So Riza has been excellent, and he needs a partner that can stick it through with him, so that even if he isn't timing the ball that well in the beginning overs and maybe struggling, at least someone can take the pressure off him and rotate the strike so that he can get his eye in and get himself in. Quinton didn't do that. And I feel that when the guys come back, Stubbs, Klaassen, and Miller, you can take a chance by playing Ryan Rickleton as the opener with Riza Hendricks. We're at that stage now, I feel, where we need to pick on form. When you're looking at the IPL, for example, especially when you've got guys like Heinrich Klaassen doing what he's doing, Klaassen was fantastic in today's game that's currently going on between Sunrisers and Rajasthan Royals. He scored 50 of 34 again, saving his team actually and putting them in a winning position. But my concern still lies with the way we chase these guys. For example, Heinrich Klaassen had an opportunity in the previous game, in the previous knockout game, to to take his team over the line and get a half century, and he fell short. And I know you can still say yes, but he scored a good score, and don't be too harsh. But those are the moments where I feel that our South African batters need to learn those moments. That even in an IPL game, when your team is chasing down the score and you're in a strong position, it's I think they need to learn how to get themselves over the line. Even though you have guys still coming in that can win the game for you, I still feel that the in batters need to solidify those victories. And that's something that we need to learn. And we don't get the South African batters don't get that right often. I think David Miller is the only one that really has done that successfully. And I think Tristan Stubbs this season has been showing signs of that in the IPL. So I'm hoping that Klaassen can do the same, because in plenty of games when Klaassen's at the crease and he's doing really well chasing, he doesn't always take the team over the line. He's not always the last guy at the crease. And I feel that he needs to learn how to become that last guy at the crease for South Africa and take them over the line and not put us into pressurized situations, because collapses can happen when a wicket falls so late on. But congratulations to him. Well done to him today. I think he's done well in that game. And it looks like Sunrisers Hyderabad are going to win the qualifier too and go into the final. So that is something from IPL perspective. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the IPL personally. I feel there's too many games, and it's quite hectic with the amount of games that is played, and it can get quite monotonous, I feel, and the same thing over and over and over and over again, which is exactly what monotonous obviously means. I don't know why I had to repeat myself there, but yeah, Sunrisers. It looks like Sunrisers is going to make that final with KKR. And let's see. That means that Markram and the guys at SRH are going to play till the final game of the IPL. So that is what we are facing currently. I see Lawrence in the comments over here saying my changes would be Shamsi for Ngidi and Nokia in for Kutsia. I made exactly the same changes at the top of the show. If Mulder fails again, I'd bring in Kruger for the third game. For me, Bjorn and Shamsi is a must. I mean, I would make that move already with Mulder, um, and bringing Patrick straight away. Lorenzo says Quinton Cock is checked out when it comes to playing for the Proteas. Let's establish that fact. I will move from him ASP. At the moment, he's in the squad, and we're sitting with a situation where we batters light. So for me, I feel that we kind of need to play him. There is a opportunity to drop him. Yes, you can possibly drop him and then bring in Vian Mulder higher up and then bring Patrick Kruger into the team. That can be another option, so that you're batting with all rounders from 5, 6, and 7. But for me personally, we have Quinton de Kock in the side, and we have to make the best of it and try and do whatever we can to get the guy into form. And I feel that he needs to play both of these games now because he's been terrible in the IPL as well. So I don't think he's necessarily checked out for South Africa because he's been terrible in the SA20 and he was terrible in the IPL as well. Um, he wasn't necessarily not terrible in the IPL, but he wasn't great in the IPL either. He wasn't the Quinton de Kock from previous IPL. So there is just something lacking with his compliments, with his confidence currently. Lorenzo says Bartman is 100% playing in the World Cup, right? He is our best depot. I feel that he does need to play. Like I said when I saw the squad selection that I feel that they need to make a decision between Gerald and Anrich. That's the decision that needs to be made there. And KG can even be thrown in that mix as a potential sub. But for me, Bartman needs to play. He's our best death bowler, and he has amazing variations as well. He's in incredible form currently. For me, Bartman should be one of the first names on the team sheet, in my opinion. He's also extremely economical. So he just ticks off all the boxes when it comes to bowler. So for me, he's the first bowler on my team sheet in the World Cup. I know that might be a very bold move, but I feel that he's ready. I don't think that he is someone that still needs time. I feel that he's ready to start games for South Africa. And I think that he'll be brilliant, and he needs to play every game in this particular series. Definitely. I was a little bit worried yesterday, though, when he went down. He looked like he took a little bit of a knock. And I don't know if I can't say it's a knock. That would be a football term. But he looked like he got a little bit injured. So that is something that I feel that needs to be taken into consideration. Critiquing Quinton de Kock seems such a taboo thing to do. People have different energies when it comes to criticism of players. It's open season for guys like Riza and Timber, but when it comes to Quinton de Kock, it's how dare you. Bro, I've been saying this. And that's where the whole unconscious bias comes into play when I speak about that. And I'm not saying it's racism necessarily, but it is a common trend with players of color that they get critiqued a lot more than non-players of color or white players. Generally speaking, that has been the what happens on social media, generally speaking. And this is not only a South African thing. This is a worldwide, global thing. If you look in other sports too, even football, you will see the levels in disparity between the criticism that a player of color gets compared to a white player. That's just the facts out there. And you can speak to an American and you can speak to an Englishman, and they will tell you the same thing. There's the same debates happening all over YouTube in podcasts. I even saw the same. I follow this. I'm a big movie fanatic as well, and I follow movies quite closely and series. And obviously, I love the MCU, the DCU, and all of those type of things. And they were talking about Hollywood and how the same things happening in Hollywood. And you might have heard of those type of things that is happening, that certain actors and directors get typified and they get put into classed into a certain group that they aren't good enough to be able to produce major films and or maybe in acting in major films. And I do think that the overcorrection is also incorrect. Like we're doing currently with transformation, I think we'll be trying to overcorrect by forcing players that are maybe not good enough or not ready into teams, just because we're trying to fill a quota, which I think is incorrect as well. And that's why I said, as fans, we have a duty as a fan base as well. We need to lead the fan base into the correct direction. I feel that on Cricket Fanatics magazine, we've been quite fair when it comes to criticism. We criticize players no matter what. It doesn't matter who they are, how big of a star they are. We will criticize when the criticism is necessary. At the moment, I've criticized Clinton de Kock. I think Aiden Markram is not in great form, and that's a bit of a worry for me going into this World Cup as well. I think that this West Indies series would have been perfect for him. It's a bit of a worry for me that he hasn't scored runs in quite some time now, and he's our captain and he's going to start. So we're going to have to rely on Quinton in this World Cup. It's just or Ryan Rickleton, whoever they're going to pick. But for me, if Quinton is doesn't show that fight, that that eagerness, and find himself playing. If that's why I said both have to play, Quinton and Riza, Quinton and Quinton and Ryan, because then we can really make a honest decision there. We can't then take the one out for the other, and then be sitting with a scenario where you haven't seen the other one play, and then you can be like, oh no, we can switch between the two. Yes, they'll be probably doing that in the World Cup, replacing each other in the World Cup, or replacing each other in the World Cup. But leading up to this World Cup, we need to see both of them basically compete for a spot. And then out of that, we pick who's going to be the guy that's going to open with Riza. As it stands currently, it should be Ryan Rickleton with his form in the SA20. He hasn't really showed it in the opening game on his debut, but give him a second game and a third game. At the end of that last T20, if Ryan Rickleton has done well and scored some great runs, he needs to take Quinton's place in that starting 11. With, in my opinion, Aiden at 3, Tristan at 4, Heinrich Klaassen at 5, and at 6, I would have David Miller, in my opinion. And you can change things around according to what suits whoever's game better, the scenario, match scenarios. I think that's also a possibility. No offense, but I feel Quinton Cock would have been greatest white ball batsman if he was a bit serious. That guy is so good. Some people are just not meant for international cricket. Mulder says M. Sabir Khan. Avin says Mulder is too disappointing, so is Fortain. And Rasi playing too slowly, killing momentum and getting out. SA in general are good front runners. They don't bowl well up front. Quinton Cock is checked out when it comes to SA cricket. He played an absolute horrendous shot. Lauren says Quinton Cock admirers are also missing the point. We're not saying Quinton Cock shouldn't play if he's in form. If he scores back to back 50s in the next game and Riggs doesn't, then obviously he opens. It's about form. Spot on. And I think that's where people are missing things. I think fans in general, we all miss that kind of. I think all of us, including myself, um, I made those mistakes a lot in the past, and I'm trying to change that about myself. Even when it comes to my football opinions, when I give my thoughts on the team that I like, for me, it's not about one or the other. I love every player in the team, so let's just get that straight first. For me, form has a lot to do with selection, but also on top of that, conditions. Um, Conditions play a massive part in my thought processes when it comes to certain selections, and you do weigh up strategy and tactics as well. You have to take that into consideration too when it comes to selecting an 11. And I agree with you over there. I feel that in this World Cup, when you're coming into a major tournament, I feel that form and confidence is so important. And if Ryan does score runs, he needs, and Quinton doesn't, then Ryan starts. If Quinton and Ryan score runs, then Quinton starts, in my opinion, based on experience, and then he would start. So that's the way it goes for me when it comes to selecting players in a T20 World Cup. It's about form, in my opinion, 100%. That's what I feel that is the only possible way you can look at it. I don't think that in this current team that we can, with the way we're going with things and the way Rob is coaching at the moment, I do feel that keeping the dressing room happy is also communicating with your players and making them realize that they need to perform if they want to get selected. If players don't perform and they still get selected, I feel that they do kind of step off the accelerator, but they kind of feel safe, and you can see it in their play. It's almost like I know I'm going to get picked, so I don't really have to take everything that seriously. And sometimes that creeps into players. I've seen it creep into players before. So you need to try and build a winning mentality by making sure that these players understand that if I don't perform, I'm out of the team. And at the moment, Riza has been, in the last 3 years, Riza was almost forced into that because he's been our best T20 batter in the last 3, 4 years now. And even you could even throw the white ball ODI kind of into the mix as well. In at a certain period, he was really good and didn't get selected. But I think in T20 specifically, he needs to. He was almost forced into playing the way he's playing currently, because he, even when he was in great form, he wasn't getting selected, and that was a travesty. Brzezinski looks good and then throws his wicket away. That's something he needs to learn as well. Lawrence, if I'm Ryan Rickleton, I'd see the next 2 games as a massive opportunities, huge incentives at play. The mere fact good runs would earn him an opening spot at the World Cup should spur him on 100%. And I think he's the type of player that when he knows that there's something at stake, he generally does step up. I hope that he does this time around. Riza, Klaassen, and maybe Stubbs look confident as batters. Others don't. Um, I mean, we'll see how David does. David always seems to turn up. I mean, so far, David's turned up in World Cups. That's someone that we can honestly say, I can basically say, I don't think he should get thrown into that choker mix, really. I feel that in the World Cups, when we've been bad, even when we've been bad, he's performed. So I'm hoping that he can bring that energy. I mean, he's won many a game for South Africa batting, chasing. So I do feel that for him, that the rest of the team didn't band around him and perform, or rally behind him and perform also around him. But he's going to be an important player, and I think he should be that. He should take the pressure as a senior pressure player in the side. He should take that pressure as saying that I'm going to finish off games for South Africa. M. Sadri Khan saying nobody must feel safe, and you are 100% spot on, and that's where we're going to leave it. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos. There will be a review show after the game, of course, like we did with last night's game. It's again another late night for us, guys. So please join me and keep me company directly after the match ends. That's when we will go live. So please, let's get into it. Let's go rally together and hope that South Africa can get us a victory tomorrow, and that we see an improvement with the bat than we did in yesterday's game, as well as with the ball. I would like to see a little bit more thinking and strategy behind Rassi's captaincy decisions when it comes to our bowlers. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow with another review show directly after the game. Stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace out.